A to Zane with Beyond the Beauty, the Science of Pain. Look, I'm not big into intros, but what I want to talk to you about is something that I've been pursuing and studying for many years, and it's a topic that's the least discussed, the least exciting, the last place that you'll look for power. Now, let's talk pain. All right, well, a lot of people don't want to talk pain. Why? Because it requires that we expose ourselves, become transparent, people will know. But this is what I propose. I propose that, and we'll discuss this a little bit more later on. You'll hear me breaking it down a little bit more. So this is what I want you to do first. What I want you to do is, I want you to visualize pain. I want you to see pain as a seed, that there's something in it. Every person, there's not a person on earth who doesn't have pain. Everybody's gonna get it, rich or poor, good family or not good family, smart or not smart. It doesn't matter what part of the world. Some people, yeah, they experience maybe more pain than others. Maybe that's sort of what we think, but we don't really know that, because pain is not the type of topic that, you talk about at a dinner or with your friends, like, hey, I'm really hurting, you want to hear about it? We're uncomfortable when it talks about pain. Our first experiences with pain, as a child, is don't do that. Or when something bad happens, don't tell anyone. Or especially with the family, the silence, you keep it to yourself, you don't let everybody know. Now we're going to talk about a topic which is pain, and we're going to be raw, and we're going to be real, and you're going to hear me say words that may make you feel uncomfortable, such as not being a coward. Now, this is what I mean by not being a coward. The pain isn't going anywhere. You're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to look at it. And what I want to do is, and what we investigate in the science of pain, is that we're going to demystify it. We're going to show you how the greats have used pain. Now, we're not going to do sort of like sometimes what psychology suggests, or what maybe other shows have suggested, that you sort of live with pain, you get over it, you find a way to live with it, or you just stop whining about it. No, we're not going to do that. What I'm proposing is that inside of pain is this unlimited, untapped power. And just to give you a quick example, and a lot of you, and I've shared articles and posts about my past, about my trauma. I grew up with a learning disability. I was the one that was going to special education courses and in classes. When I was in elementary school, I could barely read. I could read words, yes, I knew phonics, but I could barely read. I had virtually no reading comprehension, and I knew it. No matter how hard I tried, I could not make my brain work. And we also grew up, very poor. We had really, really hard times, and that definitely affected sort of even how I saw myself. So now I'm this person that my brain wouldn't work no matter what I tried. And then, you couple that with, not having and, living a life where sometimes you have to eat and you don't. And sometimes the light was on and it wasn't, and the water wasn't on, so, just sort of back and forth. That did create additional challenges for someone that was trying, how do I find my way out if my brain doesn't work? And how do I do more to get out of poverty if I don't even know how my brain works? So with that being said, as a young adult, and I'll talk a little bit more specific later, I don't want to sort of draw it all in here, but what I had to learn was, when I got pregnant with my daughter, if I don't want her to experience what it feels like to be dumb, I better learn how to read. I better learn how my brain learns. And so what I did was, I did the scary thing, which was go back in my past for all those embarrassing, humiliating moments where I didn't know, where someone said something, to humiliate me in front of others because I didn't do well, or I failed a test, or I did horrible on a standardized test. So I went back into every single place in my life because I didn't want to be a coward. I'm like, you go back there and you absorb every ounce of that pain. You stay in that location, you stay in that pain point until you don't feel it anymore, until it's okay. So I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but I began to go to those places of pain points, and I began to thank God for it, because I didn't believe that He would send something to me that would eternally hurt me or put me in a place where I'm completely stupid. I didn't believe he thought I was stupid, but I didn't know sort of how to overcome it. However, I just started thanking him for the gift. I believe God's greatest gifts are wrapped in pain. So what I did in those, I traveled back into those pain points in my timeline, and I stayed there till it didn't hurt, until I absorbed every ounce of it, and I did. And what did I find? Within that pain, something happened to me. My brain came on, and I could not turn it off. Flunked out of, nearly flunked out of high school, completely flunked out of college, to going back to school for my neuroscience degree, getting my real estate license, opening a restaurant. We were voted top 25 in Atlanta in the first few months. I wrote 3 textbooks, developing the first books of its kind for the immigration consultant industry. It doesn't exist anywhere. I wrote them. And software developer, app developer, graphic design, and creating this, I believe, which is going to be a new field of psychology, which is the science of pain. What we're going to do is demystify it and show that there's unlimited, untapped power. Please stay tuned. I'm going to be dissecting this more and more into where people start becoming interested in what type of power is in my pain. So along with myself, Ada Zane, and Rachel Roberts, we're going to show you how pain is the seed. And what do we do with seed? We plant it in the ground. But when we're talking about pain in the ground is us, our spirit. And what's good ground and what's bad ground? What's good, spiritual ground? What's bad spiritual ground? So we're going to talk about it in depth, because what we're going to find is, the greats like Martin Luther King and Mandela. What made them so great? That they absorbed all that pain, and now they produce so much fruit that even now, after their passing, they become iconic, and we're still benefiting from what they did decades ago. So, stay tuned. Please, we're going to be having, we're going to have workshops and conferences for those that are really hurting, that have pain that they can't even talk about, even as an adult. So stay tuned. More is coming. Let's find out what else is in you. Back to you with A to Z, Beyond the Beauty.